Good morning everyone. I'm Josh. If you don't know already, I shoot primarily landscape and nature photography, and I'm here today in this stunning wild garlic woodland. So I'm in the Chiltern Hills. It's an area that I come to fairly regularly, usually around this time of year in May. I'll do the Ashridge Boundary Trail, which is, in my opinion, the best hike in the Chiltern Hills. And it's a long hike, it's 18 miles, so yeah, it's a full-on day. But yeah, this is one of the kind of areas that you come through on that hike, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. You know, you've got this whole woodland carpeted with wild garlic, and yeah, this time of year it just really comes into its own. The fragrance, obviously you're not going to smell it through the camera, but you sort of, I was walking here and I thought, you know what, maybe I'm a bit too early, because it's only the kind of the start of May at the moment, and I thought, you know, maybe it's not coming out yet, but yeah, as soon as you come into this woodland, it absolutely hits you, the fragrance, and it's that beautiful garlicky smell. So yeah, as I got here, the sun just peaked above the horizon. I got some absolutely stunning light, and I've actually already got the shot that I kind of came for. You know, really what I wanted was a wide angle shot of the wild garlic in the foreground, and then obviously going, you know, just cascading across this hillside into the background as well. And yeah, blessed to get some absolutely stunning light as well. So yeah, I'll pop that up on screen in a second. I am hoping the sun's going to peak out again. It sort of was out for 5-10 minutes, but then kind of disappeared through behind some clouds. So there's still a bit of hazy light over in the distance over there where the sun's risen. But I'm hoping that there's going to be some more of it, because otherwise that was a very, very quick sunrise shoot. So yeah, it would be a bit of a shame. I've actually got the place to myself as far as I know. I can't see anyone else. I've been here, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 times in the past, usually at this time of year. Sometimes I've managed to get it, you know, right at the peak, but I've kind of been in the middle of the day when I've been doing that big hike, so the conditions aren't the greatest, or I've come and it's slightly too late. At the moment, I'm probably a week or two too early. There's still plenty of wild garlic out, but there's loads and loads more to come. So yeah, you can see there's some of the kind of the bulb heads that are in full flower, and then there's also a load more that are still in bud. So yeah, there's going to be another couple of weeks of wild garlic here. So yeah, it's sort of only really just at the start of the season. So yes, it's been fairly successful so far. Where I parked was this beautiful bluebell woodland. I'll pop some B-roll on screen now as I was walking through, but yeah, there was probably about 4 other photographers there. So, you know, it's one of those things, you know, we'll all end up kind of with each other in the background. It was a stunning woodland, probably better than the bluebell woodland that I visited in last week's video. Much clearer and well maintained, I suppose, but it's that balance of then having to kind of shoot with other people in your photo, and maybe not getting that much originality out of it, I suppose. Whereas, yeah, come 10-minute walk and I'm here in this wild garlic woodland all by myself, which is fantastic. Not that I'm being antisocial or anything, but yeah, it's just nice for a sunrise shoot to kind of have the place to yourself. And, you know, especially when you've just woken up, you're not really in the mood to kind of have a big long-winded conversation or anything, obviously. So anyway, rambling on, I've got this shot in the bag. I think probably what I'll do, I'll try and move on. I'd like to get a telephoto shot as well. So I've got the wide angle so far, but yeah, telephoto would be fantastic here. I've got some telephoto shots throughout the years here, but like I said, they've always been in that bright kind of sunny midday conditions. So it would be lovely to get something with a bit more of a subdued morning light like we have at the moment. I was hoping for fog. There was fog when I woke up and there was fog on the way here, but I think I'm probably just that bit too late. The sunrise will have burnt off all that fog and it's dissipated now. I can see it sort of off in the valley in the distance there, but where I am, there's no fog here. So, oh well, no big deal. Yeah, there's plenty of shots to get, so I'll explore a little bit more and see what we can find. So just before we move on to the next shot, I'm just going to briefly talk you through my composition with the wide angle that I've got here, but I will be quick because I'm actually blocking the path here. So if any dog walkers or other photographers want to come along here, they're going to have to fight their way over my bag and the tripod and everything. So yeah, like I said, I will try and be brief, but essentially got the Sony a6700 and the 11mm crop sensor lens with a polarizing filter on, and that polarizing filter is just cutting out some of the glare on the wet dewy leaves here in the foreground. It's also going to be bringing out some of the saturation as well. So, you know, at the moment everything is looking so green and lush, and I really want that to come across on the camera. I don't want it to be washed out or anything like that. So polarizing filter on, the camera is nice and low to the ground, and it's probably only about 10 centimeters away from my my first focal point here. So I've got kind of three sort of bulbs or flowers of the wild garlic here in the foreground, and those 3 are creating a nice bit of balance here. So it's sort of like a triangle in my foreground. So yeah, what I'm doing, I'm focus stacking. So this camera is able to focus bracket. So all I have to do is I focus on the closest part of the frame. So that'll be the closest flower to the camera lens. And then basically I set it at about 100 shots, and the focal plane moves throughout the image, and then I blend them in Photoshop, which works out quite well actually. It's a really handy feature of the camera for landscape photography. So yeah, that makes it so much easier than kind of moving the focal point yourself, for tapping it or manually focusing and just moving the ring. You know, this makes it really nice and simple. So I've got that lovely foreground there. So I've got it's just gone to sleep. I've got my nice triangle of 3 nicely balanced bulb or wild garlic flowers in the foreground. I've got it so that there's kind of no flowers just out of the frame, so or on the edge of the frame. So it's those kind of 3 bulbs and some others in there as well, but then it's framed with a load of nice green leaves and foliage around it. So I think that looks quite nice. And then in the midground you've got a nice bank, so another diagonal line of wild garlic, where the flowers are actually a little bit further on than some of the other areas in the woodland. So that creates a nice diagonal line through my image. And then I did have some lovely light on the trees before, you know, when I was first shooting this. So I have already captured it, thank God, because now the light has completely gone. So yeah, that light is kind of my background interest. So it's all the trees lit up, and kind of catching that golden sunrise light as it came through. It's such a shame, you know. It was really only here for, I want to say it was under 10 minutes. It was here for, but luckily, like I said, I managed to get that shot. And yeah, sometimes the kind of the photograph just presents itself to you, so it ends up being fairly straightforward, really. It does make it a little bit of a faff having to do the video as well, obviously, you know. I've got that to think about, but yeah, it's just handy that I haven't had to come off the main path, really. But I am conscious that the later it gets, we're going to get into dog walking territory, so there probably will be other people walking here, I imagine. But it's only just gone 6, so it's still so early. Yeah, so nice to get up and out, you know, nice and early, and, you know, start the day right. It's perfect, really. But yeah, I'm really happy with this composition. I think it's going to work really well. Like I said, some fog would have been nice, but you can't control everything. And, you know, I got here, there was no fog. So I'm happy with what I got. I think it looks fantastic on the back of the camera, and I can't wait to process it, blend those images in Photoshop, and I think it's going to look fantastic. So yeah, now I've got to find a telephoto shot. So after what feels like forever, actually, it must have been an hour and a half since I last spoke to the camera, it's basically been quite a struggle to find a telephoto composition that I'm happy with. I have shot this location loads of times before, so I'm trying to get something original and something that is different to what I've previously looked for in this location. One of the things that I was really trying to kind of pinpoint, I've kind of done a big loop around and ended up really not far from where I started on that original sunrise image. So yeah, it's gone 7:30 now, so yeah, there's been no spectacular light since I last spoke to you. But yeah, the thing that I've been looking out for is some nice moss. So everything's looking so lush at the moment, and that moss especially. So the only real tree that I've been able to find which has got a kind of a sufficient amount of moss is this lovely old beech tree. It's probably a couple of 100 years old, I would have thought. But it's got these amazing buttress roots which are covered in moss. So yeah, I'm just kind of pinpointing a real vignette of the scene here. You know, this area is massive, you know, it's the size of a football pitch sort of thing. But yeah, really trying to pinpoint a very small part of the frame and trying to tell the story through, you know, kind of really kind of more detailed images, I suppose. So I've got this lovely beech tree with the moss covered buttress roots in the foreground, and then the wild garlic kind of takes you through the image into the background, and then in the back we've got some lovely fallen, well, you can sort of see the fallen tree, but the main bit that you can see is this old dead stump from where it actually fell. So yeah, I think that's quite a nice bit to have in the background there, kind of telling that story. So let me get into a better position here. Bloody these paths are so narrow, and yeah, I'm really trying to stay on the path as much as possible. I did kind of venture off a little bit, but to be honest, I just feel so guilty doing that. You know, you're really kind of just spoiling everyone else's fun. And to be perfectly honest with you, there's like 3 other photographers here now, and we're all kind of walking around and exploring and shooting different areas. But some people are being, let's just say, some people are being more respectful than others when it comes to staying on the paths. You know, I saw a couple of photographers, they were walking off into an area that isn't even public land, you know, it's private property, so, you know, that's obviously a no-go. Very, you know, there's so much wild garlic here, I don't know why you need to go off into a bit that's closed off to the public. And then likewise, you know, part of the struggle and the art of composition is sometimes sticking to the paths and seeing what you can get from that. So, you know, yes, we all venture off a little bit, and you know, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, really. But really and truly, when you're crashing and banging through the woods and, you know, potentially damaging all of this carpet of wild garlic, it's just not fair. So I am trying to stick to the paths as much as possible, and it would be nice if other photographers could do the same. Let me know what you guys think, if you think it's worth going off the paths and potentially damaging fragile habitats, or do you think it's, you know, you've got to get the shot, so it's got to be done? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. So anyway, my settings for this, got the polarizing filter on. It's not really doing that much, to be honest, but you know, if anything, it's just adding a little bit of saturation to the image. There's not much glare now, we've got fairly balanced light, it's just a kind of a grey day really now. So I'm shooting at f/16, focusing a third of the way through the image, and that's giving me a sharp image from back to front, well, acceptably sharp. I'd rather do that than focus stack at the moment. I've got my main kind of image that I came for this morning, which will be a focus stack, but this one is just going to be f/16, focus a third of the way through the image, then you get a nice sharp image from back to front. So yeah, it's looking good. I would like, so what am I shooting at? So 60mm, so yeah, it's sort of semi telephoto. I'd like another shot which is more like 35mm, which shows a bit more of the woodland and a bit more of the hillside covered with wild garlic. And there is potentially another shot sort of just off to my left hand side here. So I'll see if I can get that. This has taken so long to get to this point of actually getting a nice image that I'm happy with. So yeah, whether it's different to the stuff that I've got in previous years, I'm not too sure. I'll have to have a look when I get back home and have a look at the photos in Lightroom. But yeah, it's definitely been a lovely morning, very peaceful. But yeah, sometimes other photographers can grind my gears. So yeah, just got to roll with the punches on those ones. You can't win every battle really, and I'm not going to start an argument this morning. So yeah, it's just a case of stick to the paths where possible, I suppose. Right, okay, yeah, let's get this one in the bag, and then I'll move on to what probably will be my final image of the day, I would have thought, the next one, because it's 7:45 now. Really, I don't want to go too far past 8. I want to get home and have some breakfast, ideally. Is that going? It keeps doing this actually, where I think I've sort of set it up to do a timer, but it's not. Oh, it's on silent mode, that's why. Yes, it is taking. It's just shooting silently. Let's have a look, see if that's acceptably sharp. I don't mind there being a bit of out of focus elements in the background. You know, in reality it does get a bit hazy back there anyway, so I don't mind that so much. Yeah, that's quite nice. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to slightly pan. Yeah, let's try that now. Just cutting off the tree at a point where I didn't really want it to. You know, I want to include a little bit more of the curvature of the buttress roots. Let's have a look at that, and I'll compare the two. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, it's just a little detail, but to me it makes a big difference. Lovely. Yeah, that looks really good, so I'll pop that up on the screen now. and I'll move on to the final image of the day. Right then, so as you can probably tell, I've left the wild garlic now. It was a nice morning, but to be honest with you, I probably could have left at like 6. I got that first shot, which was the kind of hero shot, I suppose, and the photo that I envisaged before I came today. And I got that so quickly, you know, it was so easy. I was just there at the right time, with a great foreground in front of me, and you know, with the light hitting in the background, it all just worked really well. And then the light never really came back after that, so it's been a lot of faffing around, a lot of tinkering, and let me pop you down here actually. Let's see if that's going to work. There we go. Yeah, that's all right. So yeah, it was a lot of faffing around. Other photographers came, which is never ideal. I find it a little bit tricky to realistically speak to the camera while there's other people milling around and obviously listening to what I'm saying and potentially getting everything wrong, who knows. But yeah, it's just nice to have a bit of peace and quiet, really, especially when you're in the middle of nowhere. You tend to not really think that anyone else is going to turn up, but they did. So it was yeah, it was kind of like 4 or 5 people, and now there's a load of Duke of Edinburgh students in there, and yeah, it was just time to leave, really. You know, it was a 3:45 alarm this morning, so it's fairly early. So it's been a good morning already. I've been already up for like 5 hours, so yeah, it was really nice. Lovely to come back here at wild garlic season. I didn't think I was going to get the chance, so it was really lovely to get out this morning and do some landscape photography, and hopefully that image looks good. You guys will have already seen it. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I can't wait to edit that in Lightroom and yeah, exposure, blend all of those, focus stack all of those images. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I need some food. I'm tired, and a coffee would be good. So yeah, it's time to go home now. Yeah, it's been brilliant. If you've enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and like the video. That always helps as well. And yeah, I'll be back soon with another one. I've done bluebells, done wild garlic. Who knows what's next? So yeah, stay tuned to the channel for more. See you guys later. Bye.